Here we are back again at Okpok Talk, the Weaving Center here, with, again, Taj. And today...
Famous now.
And today we're talking about plasma therapy. Yeah, and I hope to be more organized very soon and have a chat open. And I feel like I need 2 laptops to make it all happen, or 2 phones or something. You know what I mean? Because of the way the gear is set up. But
You're getting so fancy.
yeah, we're just making our way. Mic stands next.
This is next level. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's cool, hey?
Anytime I've done a video, it's just my crappy old iPhone 7. It was probably my iPhone 6, actually. And just like, well, whatever it is. And you're so fancy. I love this.
Yeah, it took this morning. I was like, okay, I got some packing up to do.
Yeah, right.
But it's worth it. It's worth it to not have to hold on.
Oh
to
my
that.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the first time doing that, and it was like, okay.
Yes. It was interesting.
So plasma therapy is urine therapy, and for the rest of this conversation, someone here might slip and use the word urine. It could be me. I really have sort of, I just don't even associate it with that anymore for myself, because it was too much baggage.
Judgment.
Yeah. And so it's called by many names, plasma therapy. Urine is golden ultra filtered blood plasma. It is from your blood. Your kidneys are big distilling machines. It takes your blood in and distills that, and what you have on one side is plasma. And your kidneys are basically like a regulator.
Right, regulator.
In your body, because you can't just keep drinking stuff and taking fluids into your system without there being a balance there. Mm-hmm. And your blood the pressure has to be balanced. And so it's like the plasma. Also, people call it Orin or Shivambu or the water of Shiva, the water of life. There's a lot of different sort of names for it depending on where you are.
We'll stick with plasma.
Yeah. So your plasma is like leftovers. So your kidneys separate those 2 things, and then what your body can use at that time out of what's there, it uses it, and what it can't use just gets discharged when you're ready to go.
So everything that's unnecessary to the blood, so if there's extra magnesium, let's say, iron, vitamin, or B12 or whatever, it's going to be filtered through the kidneys.
Yes. There's literally thousands of things that are harvested from plasma and marketed back
including hormones.
Yes. Hormone therapy, stem cell therapy. Check out the price tag for that. Stem cells are from your plasma. So you can go into a clinic and they'll draw blood from you, and they put that through a centrifuge to get the plasma, which your kidneys are doing for you.
For free.
Yeah. And that's where they harvest all of the stem cells and hormones and all of that, and, give that back into you. Market that back to you. And topical, not just
ingesting.
Yeah, but there is a ton of beauty products that have urea
and uric acid
as a big ingredient.
Right. And we're not even aware how much we're actually ingesting this from other people
and other animals.
Yes.
Especially hormone.
I think that when we're talking about this, it's really important to dispel the myth of the golden plasma being just a waste product.
That's the number one.
We just think it's this gross, waste product, and it's just like, ew. And I think that in order to derive any benefit from it, we have to like get over that first.
Yes.
So understanding the science, which it's not a waste product. It's all this extra stuff that's not needed in your blood.
Mostly water.
Ultra filtered.
Yeah.
Right.
Like by volume.
Right. By volume, yeah. And that this practice of using the golden plasma as in healing is actually thousands of years old.
Oh my gosh.
Right. The Ayurvedic, I guess it was first in...
Yeah.
Right.
So Ayurvedic medicine is the product of urine therapy. The Damar Tantra book sort of really says it all there. And what you're saying about your attitude, yes, has a big part to play in it. That was one of the first, in the first few pages of the Damar Tantra, really goes through and explains, like, it's sort of like the how-to book, that one. And your first morning discharge, that's the one you want to collect, like between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. for most people, their first time they get up to pee.
9 a.m.
So anyway, your first time that you, after a big long rest, right?
Well, it's sitting there that whole time.
Yeah, and
so it has the most...
Right, and you've been sleeping.
Right.
So your body has been in this relaxed state. Oh. And that's when when your body is in that relaxed state, that's when your body makes most of the hormones and those kinds of things that you are useful to you.
Right.
And it's like auto urine therapy. This is for what your body is producing is what your body needs for itself. So you can, people have used each other's plasma, especially when there's something going on with the other person and they can't take their own.
Health-wise.
Yeah, and the only tricky part of this is if you're on a lot of medications, a lot of allopathic medication, because you're going to be taking it again. Like it's in your blood.
Right.
So I took a aspirin once, and you get another one when you drink your plasma after that. You taste it, and you can really see when it's interesting to do a fast using only plasma, and then take some herbal infusions, and then you get that feedback loop happening again. That's really how the Damar Tantra and Ayurvedic medicine, that's how they knew it was working, because they were ingesting it and then taking it again for them, like taking them again, the medicine again back.
I was mentioning to you, was it yesterday? No, maybe it was yesterday, whatever. That I always have this, I wake up and I do my coconut water. And I had collected the plasma, and it was sitting there. I had sipped some of it, and it's sitting there. And I come back, I think I went for a walk, what have you. I come back and I go to take some sips, and I'm like, I'm looking at it. Did I just pour coconut water into this? I didn't, because that's really awkward pouring out of a coconut. If anyone's ever tried it, it's very awkward. I did not do that. However, the taste was just like pure coconut water.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, hey? You really, it's a whole new level of getting in touch, not just with your body, but with your diet.
What you are eating.
Yeah, and what that, there's some people I've talked to, and they think about what their diet, and they think of taking that in. They're
like,
it's
gross.
Yeah, I'm like, well then you need to make better choices here. So the best way, I mean, some people just start. Like I started with a 3-day fast. The same day I heard about it was the same day that I started, and I'm coming up to my 1 year.
Look at this commitment here.
On the 4th.
I'm like, let me think about this for a while. I don't know.
And then, I just started reading after that, like voraciously. And there's a few really good books. The Water of Life by John Armstrong. I actually think, even if you think that you'll never do this and there's no point and whatever, that Just tackle it like a little pocket novel or something. It's not very big.
I am planning to, what's the word? Like, not transcribe that.
Kind of like that.
I'm going to retype that one out because the copy we have is a little rough.
Yeah.
And it's not that long.
No.
So when I get home back to my laptop, I'm going to start. That'll be my practice. I have not read that one yet. I'm looking forward to it. And I figure as I read it,
you'll enjoy
type it out, whatever you.
Yeah, you'll enjoy that book.
And I love that because I'll actually get it twice. Like I'll be downloading.
I've read that book probably
the information
3 times almost.
Okay, so the other one is Perfect Medicine or
Your
something.
Perfect Medicine.
That's the one I'm on.
I can't remember the lady's name now.
It's on my book it's on my thing if we really wish to see.
Sure, you may as well get the author. And she goes through her own personal story. It's all, it's just remarkable.
No, I have the Sorcerer's Crossing on here. It's on my other phone.
And this is part of the amniotic fluid. We were breathing this.
Okay, I didn't know this.
Yeah. So urea is in your mother's golden plasma is in the amniotic fluid, and so is your own once you start producing it.
Right.
So you're actually breathing that in. And the plasma bath is a real thing. I had a an emotional healing crisis when I did my first plasma bath. It's really like being back in the womb again. So a lot of people that have had trauma when they were born.
Ooh, and who hasn't? I've read so many past life accounts, and when they speak of the death process, they're like, oh yeah, no problem. But actually being born is the most traumatic experience.
Yeah, it's like, you're going from one environment to a completely other
I had a rebirthing experience, and during it, my head was burning, like this one part of my head was burning so badly, and wrapped up in that was a lot of fear. Yeah. So it was, for me, it was a beautiful process because it was, I was being surrounded by love, and I was able to rewrite that, my own little microcosm creation story.
Yeah, cool.
Right?
Yeah. So the plasma baths, like some people save up enough where they're just bathing in plasma.
That's a lot.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how quickly it'll accumulate though. And but what I did was just diluted, like I had a bath, like a warm bath set up, and then I just kind of took my jug and like glug glug glug.
I do a hot shower every day, like a hot plasma. So I catch the fresh, warm stuff, and then I'm just standing in the shower without the water going.
Right.
And I'm just
head to toe. Give yourself
that's a daily.
Yeah.
And it feels amazing, and also the fresh stuff. To me, it has like zero. Well, because my diet is also pretty clean.
Yeah.
So there's like no scent.
Yeah.
That was something that I was concerned about, and I noticed that, of course, again, depending on what I'm eating, it could be very mild to even pleasant.
Yeah.
The taste and the smell.
Yeah.
To kind of like bitter, salty. Salt is the big one. I don't enjoy that. I'm just like, ooh, I'll save this for a foot soak.
Yeah, and a foot soak is a great way to start if you're apprehensive about drinking it.
Well, topically is a great way to start. Like you, I didn't dive in quite as fast as you did, but once you had introduced the idea to me, and I was like, yeah, okay, like I'm open to trying things, and I'm really invested in my own health and healing.
Yeah.
So of course I'm into it, and not just that you're telling me this, which I do. You're a trusted source for me.
Sure. If you'd have told me, I would have been going.
Right, because it's someone you trust, and they have the same passion for health and healing.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, there's this whole Ayurvedic history.
Yeah.
And documentation and all this,
it's
like
crazy.
Thousands of years old. So it's like, okay, I don't mind.
And even in
this
hieroglyphics, this is written in there too.
Wow,
yeah, I have
amazing.
a little passage. And the original the original like hieroglyphic text and then the translation of it. Yeah, this isn't.
No, it's not new.
It totally makes sense, right? It totally.
We're not making it up.
And even in there's reference to it in the Bible. I mean, I'm not.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Drink from your own cistern.
Right. So.
Crossing the desert.
The idea that like, okay, so for me, it was like, yeah, I had to kind of get over like, the idea seems pretty gross to put it in my mouth. Topically though, I was like, fine, like whatever, I'll try it. And topically is what I felt like my skin is so soft.
Amazing how fast it happens on your skin.
Right. And then I have had for the last number of years on and off, and I've been using, I'm not into the allopathic medicine, which is conventional Western medicine. I know that pharmaceuticals have just so much detriment, and they're really just trying to cover over the symptoms. So I know all this. So I wasn't happy to be using over-the-counter, lotions and stuff to try to stop the peeling on my feet. I'm like, why are my feet always peeling? Gosh. And I'm always in flip-flops for the last years, traveling around, always being in hot countries, etc. So I guess it's athlete's foot.
I've struggled with that too.
Right. Just always heat and humidity all the time and being in flip-flops exposed, what have you. So anyway, I've been dealing with that 4 years and having minimal success and also being unhappy that I'm putting this kind of crap, like what is all in there? I don't even know. I don't want to know. And so then having the invitation, being given the knowledge, like, oh, you could try this thing that's completely natural, like no chemicals other than what I am ingesting my own self.
Yeah, it's really
the immediate results. So in this case, it was boiled. So taking the plasma and boiling it, because I do notice that with my feet, it's a big difference between the fresh, soaking my feet, and the fresh is okay. It's okay, but let's say I get 50% benefit. And then when it's the boiled plasma,
a new level,
I get the 100%. So from the first, I think I did 15 minutes soaked the first time, and I was like, my feet are reborn. And so now I'm doing it almost daily. No, I don't even have to do it daily anymore. Like for the first days I was doing it daily, and now I can kind of.
And that's just pure, like straight undiluted.
Plasma.
You could dilute it, but for foot soaks, I think it's really worth it to just save it up. And
what's the difference? Yeah. So that having that was an issue I had been dealing with for years, and to have immediate results for free. Well, a little electricity to boil that water, or the plasma. Yeah. Okay, that's it. And just the time and the effort. So like 10 to 15 to 20 minutes soak, you could do. I know you do it.
Yeah, for people that want to do it more often, or they have like a bigger issue that they're trying to heal, and so you want to soak for longer, then just get a pair of rubber boots. I call them my plasma boots. And sometimes I'm sloshing around watering the garden with them on. Like I put them on
for an hour.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then when you take your feet out of that, it's like you just got out of a spa and you didn't have any. No one even had to. You can like rub. You can just use your hands and like rub all of
more
the dead
of that
stuff
dead skin
off.
is coming off.
And I've never had a pedicure that matches.
Never. In fact, when I got to Thailand, I was like, I was coming from Canada and it was December. No, it was January. And so I'm not wearing flip-flops. So I get to Thailand, I'm like, oh my God, so embarrassing. So I went and paid, I don't know, 350 baht, whatever that is, 15, 16, 17 bucks maybe.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. And it's called a foot scrub, and I don't know what she's going to do, right? But she uses, I just let this happen. I watched her do this. She's putting all this like harsh chemicals. I can smell it. My feet are burning. And then she scrubbed the living crap out of my feet. I was bleeding in parts.
Yeah, it's
and for
crazy.
Days after, I was hurting.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not the answer. Plus, in about 3 or 4 days, the skin was peeling again.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not the answer,
No,
people.
It's like when that book, Your Own Perfect Medicine. Right. Okay, deal breaker here, because she's cryptic at the beginning about her issue and that. She's trying to keep the
suspense.
Right. So she had endometriosis, which doctors tried to cut out of her
several times.
Yeah, and it never worked. And then the plasma therapy is what did it for her, and hence she wrote a book
she
about
had
it.
So many,
but that's
so
like,
much pain,
yeah,
and so many issues.
That's like the feet. They're like gonna scrub. There's like an issue there. You can't just
notice
scrub
that's
it away.
Very masculine. That's very yawn energy, very masculine energy. We're just gonna fight and struggle and strive and stress.
We're gonna cut it out. We're gonna
make this happen.
I was in swim club as a kid and spent a lot of time at the swimming pool, and I had plantar's warts on my feet that I had to. I guess I didn't have to, but I was taken to the hospital and they froze my foot and burnt those out of my
Yeah, you see how
feet.
Masculine allopathic medicine, and then you look at the plasma therapy and how feminine that is.
Yeah.
The yin energy, it's just the ease of it.
Yes.
The aligning.
You're really supporting you're supporting your body on a new level to just regenerate itself.
I'm so loud. There we go.
I can even turn it down a bit.
Well, I just moved it.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah, very feminine energy.
Right.
Super feminine energy. Yeah, totally. Yeah, same experience.
Not to say that we're judging masculine energy. I'm just saying
there needs to be a balance.
In terms of the healing, let's cut it out and burn it off.
Yeah. And then that's what we're always doing. We're suppressing. And after all, so one of the things that can happen when you start plasma therapy, and I had a healing crisis when I started.
The good old healing crisis.
Taj didn't really experience that. Yeah, like her healing and detoxing, because it's really, you're supporting your body on a whole new level to detox. This is the ultimate detox cleanse. I call it deep tissue detox.
Oh, I like that. Even just those words made me feel like.
And the stem cells that you're getting from this, your body knows where it needs healing.
And I think as women, well, probably men too, but I know women are more conscious of this. The hormone therapy.
Yeah,
I don't even completely natural, made for you hormone therapy.
That was a huge one for me too.
Right.
When I first, there was a woman I met in one of the chats I'm in, Megan. I can't remember her last name now.
Yeah, we're not down with the names. We've already decided this.
It's funny because she lives on the east coast of Canada, and one of my good friends that I met on Quadra, that stayed with me for a while, knows her. So funny, hey? Through the plasma therapy circle there, she knows her, and we're like, oh my god. Anyway, so she's been doing it for over 9 years, and hearing her stories of her hormone balancing, and when she goes into her regular doctor to have, the blood work done, they're like, whoa, like it's different. It's different than other people because she's been doing this for so long. But the Water of Life book by John Armstrong is really cool for that, because it didn't matter what people were coming to see him with. The protocol was the same for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's like,
my orderliness. I love the orderliness in that, right?
Yeah.
Ooh. Because life is messy, so anything that's nice and clean cut, I'm like, yes.
So if you have like heart problems, or if you have
neurological,
hormonal,
whatever it is,
so those stem cells, those stem cells are going to come and work on rebuilding your heart for you, or wherever it's needed most. That's where it's going to naturally.
So coming back to the healing crisis, so you began this journey with a 3-day plasma fasting cleanse. So to explain that means you're not.
No water, nothing else.
Right.
Just, I might have had a glass of water in there towards the end. Can't really remember. One of the things I did that I really am grateful for is I started to journal. The day I started, I started a journal. I'm really glad I did that in hindsight. So yeah, I started a 3-day plasma only fast. In the plasma world, they call that looping, where you're just constantly
in and back out and back in and back out.
Super fresh, like,
and
you don't let it sit.
filtered.
Yeah, ultra-filtered golden plasma looping. And we had just moved, and it threw me into a full-on healing. Well, not full-on, but whatever. People can have varying degrees of reaction,
and it's going to be
crisis.
Personal to you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Every single person is going to have their own.
So what was
outcome.
What did yours
Mine
look
was
like
mine looked and felt like the flu, like the typical flu.
And
so
usually when we detox, that's what we're headaches, achiness, flu-like
huge amount of mucus that came out of my body. Like, that's the other thing. Plasma breaks up all of the mucus in your body,
which is basically linked to inflammation.
Absolutely.
And acid, your body is acid.
Yeah.
So getting rid of that, you're alkalizing.
Huge amount of mucus. I couldn't believe it. It was
where was this all hiding?
I know, right? In your tissues.
You saying that makes me want to do this because I have not done this.
Yeah, I highly recommend.
My fasting is I'm drinking herbal teas, I'm drinking water, I'm drinking the plasma.
Yeah,
I've not
it was
done
heavy duty.
Right.
My nose was like a faucet of mucus. It was absolutely
Sounds
insane.
Fun.
And I had so a little history on me. I was diagnosed with.
I don't even like that word.
Right. So I
said it and I'm like, ew, that word's gross.
I tore the blood vessels off the lunate bone in my wrists, both of my wrists, from all this heavy lifting that I did for so many years.
It was a progressive. It wasn't a one-time lift and something breaks.
This is
it's
a
progressive
long time. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
When I went to the doctor, they're like, usually masonry workers have this issue. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And I was doing scuba diving charters.
All those tanks.
35-pound weight belts each one, and 35-pound aluminum tanks.
All day.
All day, yeah. 2 dives a day, 12 people. Filling, so you're moving the tanks from the compressor room into the back of the truck, from the back of the truck to the compressor room.
Right.
Lot of heavy lifting.
Lifting them onto people's backs.
Yeah, helping people out of the water, passing them, and then I went from that to water taxi.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, thousands of pounds of freight. Crazy. Which is when I discovered the company, that healing products.
Yes.
Company, and that really made a huge difference and really helped repair. But I moved and couldn't have that anymore.
Out of North America.
Right. And all this, so the last 10 years of traveling, I haven't had that anymore, and I felt the benefit of that. It really changed the trajectory of my health because I was on those products for so long.
Right.
7 years.
Yeah, wow.
That I was taking it daily, basically. So my wrists really were feeling so good, to the point where I was like, wow, maybe I didn't even need to have this surgery.
If you had known.
Yeah.
Which you did not.
Right.
Releasing judgments.
So it's been sort of creeping, that pain has been creeping back to higher and higher, and I came to a breaking point really before I started taking the plasma. We'd just moved, and I was moving. I had literally hundreds of liters of fermenting fruit enzyme that I moved with me. And
so going right back to the very action that hurt you in the beginning, you were doing again.
Right.
Without any of your healing.
Right. I'd re-traumatized basically and refired this whole thing back up. And I was seriously just moved into my own little garden space. And I'm like, how am I even going to shovel? How am I even going to break ground here? Anyway, I was like, okay, I'll just rest for a few days. I'm just kind of ignoring it. And then this plasma therapy thing came up, and I didn't even really associate that this was going to work for my wrists.
Right.
I didn't start taking it thinking that I was going to have.
Right.
And by like the second day, I was like, oh my God. Like, didn't want to say anything. Don't want to jinx it. But I was like,
want to jinx it.
Wow, really? 2 days of just drinking your own plasma? And I feel like I can like function, you know, like it was, blew my mind.
That's a revolution.
By the third day, I was stunned.
Yeah.
I was completely
no pharmaceuticals.
Stunned. Yeah.
You know, we have become in Western society so dependent on if you have a physical issue, you go to the doctor and you get pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Knowing full well that could be a whole bevy of, what's the word? You know, what's the thing that they say? Oh, the complications,
all the nefarious side effects that come along with
it.
Ugh.
Yes. So this is completely free.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go see anybody about it.
Which was another amazing thing to me.
Right.
That every one of us has this potential built in. And that, I'm going to start to cry. It was like magical, you know? Like, oh my God, we're magic.
Yes.
Like confirmation.
Yes.
Yeah. And, okay, well then some anger came after that because I was like,
why did nobody tell me?
I was so mad.
I've been suffering all this time. I had the answer within me this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's an acceptance to that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course that would be a hidden, of course they would try to hide that.
Well, and then there's like who are they that is trying to hide it? And then who is like us who doesn't know anyway? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been studying health and healing for 25 years, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like I got started pretty early, but still 25 years of studying. Oh God, I can't even list it all the stuff that I've investigated and researched and tried and blah, blah, blah. Not, for me, I didn't have any actual issues. I'm just,
curious.
You know what I think it is about? My orderliness. I want my body in perfect order. I want my physical space in perfect order. I want my mind in perfect order. I want all my relationships. Well, that's a joke. That's another conversation. So it was like, I want everything running in perfect order.
Yeah.
How do I do this? So in my 25 years of deep diving into these topics, I have never come across this. I've read about Ayurveda, and I hadn't come across it. So it's like, okay.
And you won't come across it in Ayurveda.
Right. Unless you're looking for it, I suppose.
Basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe we could talk about what this looks like on a daily. Like, well, I'll talk about, like, so you said you had a healing crisis. I haven't had the deep dive like that, like the looping. I would like to try that now.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm like, oh, that sounds fun. I mean, it's not fun, but like, I'll be so satisfied to have that, you know, whatever it is coming out of me.
Yeah, the other thing that it does is there's nothing better for, like, getting rid of calcified stuff and parasites and worms and all of these things in our body. This really is the ultimate detox.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Right.
And there's lots of different ways that you can take that on. Like there's the aged, there's fresh plasma, there's aged plasma, which basically is like anywhere from 2 weeks onward. Some people do it in some people don't use the word aged, they use the word evolved.
Sounds fancy.
Yeah. So evolved plasma, and they usually say about 2 weeks. That's kind of like a minimum in the plasma therapy world to call it evolved.
I've got a bunch of it that would be about that.
And sort of the older the better, because that's where your stem cell production really goes crazy when it's aged or evolved. As it evolves, there's more and more stem cell production happens in there.
I've got fresh, aged, boiled.
So usually when I'm drinking, I'm just drinking fresh.
Me too.
And I used to use not very many. I haven't come across really almost anybody that's doing the boiled. And I was, oh, right. How I got started with boiling was I was warming. It was super cold, and I was warming some
to
up.
do a little shower or
I
whatever.
actually was going to do a foot soak.
Gotcha.
It was so cold out, and I was like, I don't feel like putting my feet into cold aged, evolved plasma. So I was going to warm it up. And then Lee said, why don't you do like the Damar Tantra and reduce that to 1/4 volume and see what that's like.
What's that?
So
That's
it's
all about?
in the pot.
Right.
So, and I was like,
Sure.
let's just do that.
Why not?
So, when I boil, I don't like hard boil. Like I
Simmer,
basically. And while you're doing that, you can hang a little towel over top of your pot and catch some of that
breathe it in,
vapor,
get it into the pores,
yeah, and
the
like
eyes.
get it, the eyes, and like really not just breathing through your nose, but like breathing through your mouth and really feel that.
I've done it a little bit, but it's so hot here, and I'm just like,
yeah. When you get back,
it'll be happier to do that in a colder climate.
Because you can,
it feels good.
There's no
breathing it in feels really good.
Oh, it's amazing for respiratory issues.
Oh, I could imagine.
And actually, in hospitals, plasma, is used in burn centers. One of my friends on Quadra, when I was talking to Christine about plasma therapy, she's like, yeah, this is like the golden water that we use for burn patients.
Oh, is she a nurse?
Yeah.
Aha.
So they know
about this. Yeah.
It's surprising to me that that no one is practicing it. That I never came across anybody
and that's
practicing it.
That's why we're doing this, right?
Yeah, because it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Actually.
Well, and to talk about, so my little
with
journey. So however long I've been here, almost a month. So I started it when I got here, and I did do a fast, but I was doing herbal tea and water and stuff. I didn't realize that you meant, we didn't really discuss it, like just the looping.
Yeah.
So, I started with a fast, and what I noticed right away was, when I was just doing, let's say, coconut water or even fruit or herbal tea or whatever, the plasma was tasting so good. And I like to let it cool. I don't love it warm. It's okay. But for me to kind of get used to this, because, there is a little process of getting used to this. Because it feels wrong. You're like, what is happening here? But having that first couple days of fasting, and doing it, it was like, oh, this tastes not, you're like, oh, it's not gross.
Yeah.
So that was my first thing. This is not gross. Now, depending on what you're eating, it could be really gross. So I would just recommend, I think, and people can do whatever they want to do. I would recommend, because it worked for me, doing a fast for a day or two, or just doing
fruit only.
Yep. Or
like
water steamed nice.
Steamed vegetables that are like
no salt.
No
salt will be gross.
No
salty plasma is icky.
Yeah, fruit that's a little, or vegetables that are like a little bit on the sweet side. Even oatmeal, like if you want to have something more substantial.
I was just doing fruit. Well, first I did just the coconut
and
water
rice,
and water.
Rice, or the other one I like, Job's Tears, Adelaide. Is really like barley.
Right.
It's a nice flavor.
So what helped me so much was realizing this isn't gross. And depending on what I was ingesting, like the coconut water, it was actually tasty. Which I was like, huh?
Yeah. I love
that was revolutionary.
The coconut water plasma.
So
Yum.
something the skin I noticed right away. So using it topically, my feet, like I mentioned, that was immediate, and just how soft my skin is. And I'm like, hey, this is immediate. And within 3 or 4 days, I'm gonna say, I don't know. My teeth were getting whiter.
Yeah.
So now I started
we should have taken before and after picture. But you can really see it. You can really see it in your skin.
Right.
You can really see
you've mentioned, so you've been doing it almost a year, but topically you haven't been doing it for as long. Is that true?
No, topically I have. When I started with the 3-day fast, like we went full bore.
Mm-hmm.
We were like enema, top the skin,
Right,
hair, ear, flushes, up the nose.
Like a neti pot
yeah.
with the plasma sort of thing.
And Lee he's had insomnia pretty much his whole life. Right. And this is the first time that I've ever seen him really sleep laying down.
And you have been together for many, many years.
Yeah,
so
like 10, over 10 years.
Yeah.
Huge problems breathing through his nose, like not being able to lie down.
Right.
And
Yeah, so the myriad, I mean, even going online, I have found links online. Like now I'm looking for it, I'm like, there is information out there. I had just never come across it.
Yeah.
So the myriad of issues that it could help with.
Oh my gosh. I just don't even know what it can't not help with.
Right.
Actually.
Right. So in terms of you having a healing crisis, I think I've been kind of lightly dealing. So I am drinking all my plasma except, so I kind of like light fast during the day. I do my coconut water, then I do fruit, and then I'll usually have a light meal later, between 5 and 7 p.m. And that nighttime plasma, I don't drink. I'll take a sip. You call it sip cycling. So I do my sip cycling, but I don't even drink that. I'll save it for my foot scrub or topical because I'm just like, ooh, it doesn't taste good to me.
Yeah.
But I am not making my own food. This is food that I'm getting out in the community or whatever. So I haven't had any. I don't notice like internally any. I didn't start with any issues though. So
yeah, I don't even think we really know what issues we have. That's the other thing of it.
Okay.
We
don't know until something actually manifests. You don't know what's brewing.
Yeah.
Certainly being acid. Certainly that, because we're in this Western culture. We're drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Dairy.
Breathing the air.
Meat, sugar. Yeah, the air that we're breathing. The air quality is pretty bad here in Southeast Asia. During this season, they're doing like slash and burn agriculture, so we're breathing in smoke. Now, it's a trade-off because, on the other hand, I have fresh organic fruits and vegetables available at my fingertips.
It's pretty remarkable, this place, the food security. I've never felt the kind of food security that I felt here. I haven't felt that really anywhere else.
No, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of it as a trade-off. Like, I've really been investing in my health here while I'm here doing this plasma journey and doing basically a soft fast every single day, and then I'll take a couple days where I am like fasting. So I am detoxing, but I'm not having any. I did say I've had really low energy.
Yeah.
Like for my usual, I'm usually like.
That's a detox symptom.
Yes, and it's
for sure.
And it's not clear because of the air quality. It could also be that.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
However, I'm encouraged enough with the topical results that I'm going to continue.
Yeah.
Ingesting it to see.
Yeah.
So I'm drinking cups of it every day.
Yeah. And the topical, I used to use evolved topically, but it's in short term it's okay, like no problem, but long term it can start to get really drying for the skin.
Gotcha.
And if you have a wound, like, because this is great on wounds, the evolved, just straight up, you can actually give yourself an alkaline burn if you go too hard with that, which is what happened to Lee. He had a gash on his leg from his bike pedal, and he was like a fanatic about spraying it with his evolved plasma, and he actually gave himself a burn. So would you
recommend the fresh for that, or boiled?
Fresh or boiled? Boiled is really the way to use it topically.
And I haven't been. I started doing it.
Boiled.
And then I was like, oh, it's plasma. So easy to just do it in the shower. Like, I've been lazy.
Yeah.
I will admit it. I've been lazy.
The boiled
fresh is so easy.
Yes.
And it's just so hot. Like, it's just hot. In my room, it's hot. I don't put on the AC.
When you're.
I'll have to just.
I have a little outdoor kitchen area, so I kind of like
that would make all the difference to me. So I'm like, when am I going to do it? At night, it's the hottest in my room. And in the morning, it's nice and cool, and I don't want to make it hot.
Sure.
It's like, when am I? And then I was just like, I won't boil it.
Yeah.
But here you are saying it's the best.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
We didn't key into that until later. It just sort of, and I've never, out of all of the plasma community interactions I've had online, I've never heard anybody talk about boiling it. But for your skin, this is the way. This is the way.
The way.
And I have it in a spray bottle. So I get out of the shower. Like I mix it up. I use plasma. Let's just sort of round off what I use plasma for. Evolved plasma, 2 weeks or older, is used for all of the laundry, all of it, all of the washing in general, mopping the floor, scrubbing, getting rid of mildew and grime and stuck on stuff and
mold.
Yeah. Cleaning glass, windows.
Well, yeah, because it has the
ammonia.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's that word?
Amazing.
Right.
Amazing cleaner. Amazing household
which would be
cleaner.
why it's teeth whitening, right?
Yes.
The ammonia.
Super awesome.
Also, I had a little issue, like I floss on
and
daily.
Really good
I had
for
a little
your gums.
issue with my gum in this one little spot, and I was like, what's going on? Like I brush, I floss, what's happening? And I started just gently scrubbing it in with my toothbrush, and it's gone. Like in a few days, I was like, oh, that's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, Lee's had a lot of oral health issues that have plagued him, and yeah, I really feel like we discovered it at an amazing time, and both of us, both Lee and I, are like, wow, this sort of really kind of saved us in a way. Like when I think of even though I was eating really well, it's just here especially, like supplements and anything special, like all of these things that you have access to in other places.
Right.
It's like you can barely find a decent pair of flip-flops
you have to
here.
become your own healer in an environment like this.
Yeah. And herbal medicine is awesome, but it's only going to get you so far, and the hormone thing. And the other thing that plasma does is the decalcification part of it.
Do you think now, as soon as you said decalcify earlier, I was like, I want to loop back around. What do you think about the pineal gland?
I was just going to say
Thank you.
This is what it's for. It actually decalcifies the pineal gland.
Right.
And a lot of people...
Shall we explain in case anyone doesn't?
So that's like your imagination, creativity
It's the physical
center.
expression of your third eye.
Yes. There you go.
It's like a little pine cone. It's kind of, if we drew a straight line here and a straight line like through the middle and through in that intersection would be this little pine cone.
Yeah.
That here
it's
again,
been sabotaged.
I was like, I don't want to go into the conspiracy theories, but anyhow, there's a lot of people out there saying that this is being done purposely.
Well,
so that we're not connected. The
fluoride in the water is a bad idea. We know that.
The chemtrails,
Sure.
The thing is, you can't
about
focus on
all
all that stuff because it'll just get you raging and lamenting.
Sure. But there is a release that happens there. And that was another thing that I experienced with the 3-day fast.
Yeah.
I'm into
this. I got to do this.
Not only were my wrists, like, I was like, oh my gosh, I have mobility back. I have strength back. Like, I don't have, like, the pain was still there, but it's like, like manageable.
Right.
Way down. And then I started my whole, this is where the dream thing and the Carlos Castaneda.
Oh, my dreams lately have been off the wall.
So that's what a year ago when I started doing this, instantly sparked that back up again.
Right.
And I was like, wow, this whole thing had gone dormant in a way.
It's funny, I hadn't associated this. I had noticed that my dreams since I got to Luang Prabang here in Laos, that the quality of them has gone back to what I used to be. And I've thought, like, I had thought that, like, oh, this is funny. I used to dream like this. I haven't been dreaming like this in a long time. I just thought it was this place. I didn't
everything is something.
It could
but
be.
Yes.
I didn't associate it to the plasma.
It definitely was the plasma.
To the decalcification. I didn't. I was like, why are my dreams so like? I'm crossing dimensions.
Yes. The flight dreams are like a thing in the plasma community. They're like, even in the
which
Damar,
I had
Tantra.
my whole life up until probably into my 30s. They kind of slowed down, and now I haven't had one in maybe 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so same. Well, now I float. Actually, and the floating feels so real. When I wake up, I'm like, I know I should be able to float.
Yeah.
I don't like the word should, but I feel like I should be able to float in this reality. Like it's so real to me in the dreams, but I haven't had an active flying in, I'm going to say 10, 12, maybe even 15 years.
So I had a dormant period like that too.
Right.
And back to the astral, like the flight dreams came back with like,
so that's exciting.
Like they'd never departed, It was like that
back
much of a return to. Yeah, and they write about that
in
the Damar Tantra.
I love that this just keeps unfolding.
Oh my gosh, it's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Right, I love this.
The plasma is
and it's exciting now, meeting people, and I'll see something that they're dealing with, and I'm instantly like,
I know, right?
I want to share, and I'm like, okay, well, you kind of want to read your audience. I'm not going to go out on well, this is us on a loudspeaker.
Sure.
However, people could choose to tune in or not tune in.
Yeah.
So, I recently met a woman who I thought it was acne scars. I mentioned this to you. And I wanted to say so bad because she's this beautiful, bright light. And then it turns out it was actually an accident that kind of like peeled her face off. Yeah. And I'm like, I need to spend a little more time and just, you don't want to scare people. And yet it's like, there's this, your heart is like, giddy with excitement to share this beautiful gift with
and especially them. Like this can be really especially powerful for elderly people too, right? It can literally wake you back up again.
Right.
Yeah. So, plasma is also used as one of the best things that they know of for inflammation, for brain like if you have a blunt trauma.
My grandfather died of a brain bleed, and when I read that in the Perfect Medicine book, I didn't look back like with regret, like if only I'd known. It is what it is.
Sure.
However, I was like, holy.
Yeah. There's so many times when you're reading through these books where you're just like, you see your family, you see your friends, you see, and you're just like, wow. Just
I want to tell everyone. One of my friends said she's had some colon issues, and I think she had to have surgery. She's maybe 66 or 67. And I sent voice notes, several. I was just talking about my own journey, and then I was like, this is before, she didn't tell me about the colon thing. So and then I was like, well, part of my journey is this plasma thing, and she's an RMT and has been for 35 years. So I was like, I'm like, if I'm preaching to the choir, like, my apologies, but I'm just so excited, and I'm sharing. And she writes back, she didn't comment at all, and just said, oh, I'm having these colon issues. And I'm like, I didn't I didn't even, I was like, okay, I released that because I shared it.
Yeah.
I shared it. And
I've shared
she's got it now.
Yeah.
So if she wants to not,
I know,
you can't shove it down people's throats.
No.
Like, come on. But I'm like, try an enema.
I'd never done an enema until I did a plasma enema.
I have.
And that's like another thing, right? Like and now when people used to talk about enemas, I was just like, okay, you're gross.
Oh, I was like,
something
clean.
Up your bum. I know,
clean,
right?
And orderly and clean. I'm like, yes, I want to sparkle from the inside out.
Yeah.
Like this.
And now I get it. Now I get the enema thing. Now I'm like, oh, okay. Now I understand.
Well, and say that your first experience with the plasma enema.
Yeah, my first plasma enema experience was like basically like a mild LSD trip. Seriously, it was like a whole bunch of stuff got liberated out of my body, and it's just been like, it was magical, joyful, laughing. experience. And
so you fashioned your own, because we can't
so it totally hacked things together, because if I was going to wait for a proper enema kit to show up in my world, in my reality, before I did an enema, I'd still be waiting.
Right.
I went to like every pharmacy in town with a photo
Picture
of an enema kit, and they looked at me like I was like no. Like, we don't have that. So I fashioned, the first time we tried was just with a little funnel, which just didn't work so well. We're like trying to hack stuff in the kitchen. It's hilarious. And we eventually got a little condiment bottle, like I don't know how else you'd describe it.
Like
just a condiment bottle.
Like when you go into a Greasy Spoon restaurant and they have the red ketchup. It's not red, but like a red ketchup bottle, like not a Heinz
you want like
bottle.
You want a bit of a nozzle on it.
Yeah, a little nozzle. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And it's basically like that.
Yeah.
So you've got you put the stuff in, you've got the little nozzle, you gently
So I lay down and put it in your bum, and then get your bum up above
your legs up.
Yeah. A little bit of
elevation.
Yoga
inversion.
Inversion. Yeah. Or you can try in like the semi-prone position where you're laying on your stomach and sort of roll over. You can try it like
I'm
that.
I'm going to try that, because I tried the other way. And it was
can
just
be messy.
Well, when I squeezed the bottle, all the liquid came out the side.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because it's not made for this.
No.
Right.
But you don't need
much.
You don't need
much. Well,
at
home, most people would have access. They could order an enema kit or go
so worth it.
Yeah.
So worth it.
Oh, by the way, if you go into a pharmacy and you get an enema kit, get one that doesn't have a solution. Do not use the ones with solution, because what are they putting in you? It might just be a saline solution, but I don't know.
I would never.
No. So
water.
I got one off of Amazon years ago, and it's almost like just a water bottle.
Yeah.
Like a hot water bottle with a hose,
those.
and then like a nice little thing for insertion.
Right. That's the hardest thing to find.
And I just hung
a nice
up
little thing for insertion.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I just hung the thing, and I laid in my shower. On my side, and I just put it like that, and that was great.
And I love coffee and plasma together. Now I'm not using a lot, like a few ounces. A few ounces, and I never did a fresh.
So when you say coffee, you mean
brewed coffee,
right?
And I would
cooled, preferably.
Yes. And I'll blend that like 2 ounces of aged plasma with like 1 ounce of coffee.
So the aged would be good for that, the evolved.
Yeah. And sometimes, I guess I have done young. Sometimes I'll do 2. Sometimes I'll do 1 enema with just the plasma and flush everything through. Right. And then I'll do one with a little bit more coffee, and so I can hold it longer.
Yeah, so how long are you holding it?
Well, kind of as long as I can without straining too much.
Okay, so your body is telling you when it's time to get on the toilet.
Right. I'm just going with that.
Yeah.
And so it's varied a lot.
Do you lay there the whole time, or do you get up and do stuff?
Sometimes I'll lay there at the beginning, because I actually have real intense digestive tract issues.
Oh.
Big time.
Oh.
Like I have some inflammation that shows up.
Well, I noticed that's odd that you're eating the gluten.
I know.
Oh.
It is.
I know.
It is. It is odd. I'm like,
I don't have the issues, and I don't eat
sugar. Yes.
I don't really like it. I'm not hip on the bread. It's just like
I don't know what it is. When I was a kid, I was like my favorite thing, toast and jam and butter.
Tons of people have a bread thing.
Yeah.
Or a pasta thing, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I'm a
it's a vehicle
pasta, not
for
so
the
much.
Yummy thing that goes on top, and I'm like, it's just
jam. You're getting it out of me now.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm not so excited. When I was eating it, I'm like, this doesn't have the same appeal to me as it used to. It's funny that I had that.
That's funny.
This morning.
Yeah. I'm just watching you.
And I was like, crunch. I'm like, this isn't even really fun anymore. Thinking to myself. Well, looking at your omelet, and I'm like,
we evolve.
Yeah.
We're always ever evolving.
And I was really off gluten for quite a while.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, and the idea that, like, you know, if you take a piece of white bread, let's say, and you put it in your mouth and you start chewing, it's all gummy. So you think about that as
oh
glue.
God.
I know you know. I'm saying it for our potential audience.
Yeah.
That it's like gumming up your. It's like glue in your intestinal
flow
tract.
Through. It's not going to flow through very easily.
Especially if you are trying to cleanse and detox and get clean or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved. I did the raw food thing for about 3 months. Years ago, I was set. For me,
like
traveling
raw,
and
like no cooking.
Yeah,
no cooking.
No cooking. And at first I thought, oh gosh, I'm going to have to eat constantly, because as a vegetarian and or vegan, it was like I had to eat every 2, lucky if I could go 3 hours without eating. And it was just, I'm like, ugh, I'm not a super fan of like having to cook and eat. Like it's to me, it's like a hassle.
Yeah.
If somebody else wants to make food for me, I am down. But with me, it's like, oh gosh, you know, it's every day, every few hours. Like, are you never satisfied? It's annoying, you know. Anyhow, with the raw food, I thought it was just going to be constant. Like, how am I ever going to not have a
like
time
you're
when
a
I'm
cow grazing in the field?
For
no,
sure.
Just need to keep
now,
going.
The revolution for me now, I don't just mean I'm munching on carrot sticks all day. Like, I had the dehydrator, I had the food processor.
Yeah.
So
this is why I never went raw, because I was just like, whoa.
It's amazing though. So it's the tastiest food I've ever had. Like, for instance, a raw cheesecake. A friend of mine back on Quadra makes them, and it's the best dessert I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
I don't mean the best healthy dessert. I mean the best dessert I've ever had in my life.
Some of my favorite meals have been raw.
Okay, thank you.
Definitely.
So with the tips and tricks, like, I'm not just going to munch on lettuce all day long and call that I'm a raw foodie or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was making super tasty, like, I never had to miss chips, like snacking. I never missed crackers or bread because it's dried, dehydrated.
Oh my God.
I could season it, I could namashoyu and different herbs and spices, whatever. And it's like, now I have super healthy, bioavailable, super high in nutrients. And that was a revolution for me.
You just described plasma.
Oh, yeah, isn't that amazing? The amazing thing, the revolution for me with that was that I ate less.
Yes. Wow.
Because of the nutrient dense food, I was eating
dense, right.
less food than when I was cooking it. Plus, I had hardly any dishes. I rinsed out my food processor, and I, wipe out the dehydrator. I'd have a plate and maybe a spoon, and like no pots, pans, Tupperwares, like all this stuff.
Yeah, and then the stuff that's
dishes.
hard to clean, frying, oil, grease, like all of that.
So that was a revolution, and then I was like amazed, and then I traveled. And I was like, oh, now I'm not traveling around the world with a dehydrator and a food processor.
The food thing has been a big thing for me because of so many years of basically being nomadic. And I was like, okay, raw. And then I start looking up raw, and I'm like, oh my God, there's some tools. Need gear.
There's some tools for that. So if you're settled, it is so worth, like, whether you have the motivation to go completely raw is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
If you're willing to dip your toes into it and invest in some of these items, I think the dips, the sauces, the desserts, it was like, how, because I've been asking for these answers for so long, and you know why I didn't get the answers? Because I was angry. And so my anger and my focusing on not having what I wanted and being angry about that kept these answers from me.
Yeah.
So there's this level of acceptance.
Yes.
And then the
That's
answers
necessary to move
started
forward.
coming. And I realized, I've been working with this whole, the law of attraction, the vibrational frequencies for a long time. So I know when I'm keeping myself from what I am wanting because I'm so angry or sad about the current situation.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting more of it.
And
then
waiting for it to be what you want it to be.
Right.
So that you can, like, there, now.
I'll be happy when the outside situation changes, rather than I'll be happy now, and then magically, this is the magic again, magically when I'm happy in here, the external just kind of starts falling into place, and now I have plasma, and I understand the raw foods thing, and but I'm also okay with whatever it is. Like traveling so much, I was like, it's the take what you can get diet. So and releasing the judgments on that. Even when I'm eating what I think is kind of not the greatest, I'm still eating healthier than. Not that that matters. I'm just saying, you know, I'm still doing not that bad.
When my diet has changed a lot over the years, and definitely
using food as entertainment and emotional fulfillment.
I think that's what most of it is.
Oh, for sure. So that was a big thing. Am I eating because I'm hungry?
That's really, and the plasma really helped me with that, because it was, first of all, my consumption went down so much. It was freaking crazy.
Your food consumption?
Yeah. Once I started drinking plasma, I was like, wow, I'm eating, like, I'm not even hungry. I'm not even, the hunger isn't even there.
I do get hungry.
There's like,
I am getting hungry, but I'm also still eating those dinners out.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, what is that triggering? Like, if I was only eating like a let's say a raw food diet, would my...
Oh, I'm sure it would.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, it's the journey. I'm
my gosh, there's no wrong way to do any of this.
Yeah.
It's a good way, good thing to remember. And the one thing about plasma is that it's super safe. You can't do, there's zero instance of harm. There's like no...
Well, other than you were talking about your partner using the aged...
Yeah, but I mean, that's really... he was obsessive with it. You know, like, I don't know if anybody will go that crazy with it, but yeah.
Well, we don't know.
Do the boiled. Use the boiled.
Can we put links when you post this video? Because all the books that we've mentioned.
Yeah, I'll do a little.
Like, if people
I'll do a little write up into.
Like, oh, this talk is interesting enough. I'd like to explore.
We're definitely gonna be doing. Well, I'm definitely gonna be doing more. I would love to do more with.
Right. Well, I'd like to. I want to see where this journey is going. Right.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
So there's a myriad of ways that you can use it. If you're putting it any time where you're feeling like anxious about what kind of plasma you're using, then you can always go to the default of just use totally fresh.
Yeah.
Like in if you want to do a big flush in your ears, if you have something blocking your ear canal, fresh.
I was having... Well, okay.
You can flood, like, really.
I was having some real ear issues before I got here. Even my journey in the bus getting here to Luang Prabang, I was having pains to the point where I'm like, I don't want to be in public and have this be so much that I can't. Yeah. Like, I'm holding it in right now. And I had a flight a couple weeks before that, somewhere in Thailand, and my ears, I haven't had that. I don't know what that was. It did go away when I got here, but I have felt something every once in a while. I feel a little tinge in my ear. I have been using the fresh in my ears. Yeah. When I do my fresh plasma shower every day, I'm pouring a little bit in my ear every day and just let it sit on the one side for a couple minutes, the other side for a couple minutes. Yeah. And eye drops, nose, anywhere. Right. Anywhere. I even do a douche, vaginal wash. Yoni wash. Right. Not on a regular schedule, just when I feel like it, usually after my cycle. Right. And then when I have an early morning early morning plasma that's like really looks, and tastes super sparkly and yummy, then I'll use that as a My morning douche. One always tastes icky because of my nighttime meal. It's always salty. I do, I don't really use much salt in my food at home, and we've tailored our diet to so that the plasma tastes good all. I hear you on that. Yeah. I am not doing that because I'm out and about eating at different restaurants, and then we'll experiment like a bit with what's seasonal. So ferns are actually in season right now, and so this is the first time that I've had those, and very, very good second time. It's so cool because your body actually can't absorb that much.
nutrition out of the food that we consume.
Right.
It's not like, whoa, it's got to work to get that out of it. So when you loop back and it's not just that you're giving your body a second go at it, it's that your body doesn't even have to do anything to get that second go at it. Mm-hmm. It's like completely ready to be absorbed into your body. Right. Yeah. So it's like the ultimate medicine. It's just amazing. It's like just amazing. And a lot of plasma therapy, if you go into a lot of the texts from India, there's so much cow urine. Is a big, long history of use in India. And it's incredible.
Topically?
Drinking, everything.
Oh, everything.
Yeah, everything. These huge bodybuilder guys catching the cow urine and drinking the cow urine. These like super muscular, fit guys, like videos. I
like the idea of my own much better than some rando cow.
Yeah, but cows, you think?
They eat pretty clean.
Yeah,
and they're chewing their cud.
Right, and
they're digestion. Everything.
And I was talking to my mom about plasma therapy, which both my parents practice, and it's made a really big difference. You can see it
visually. Visibly.
After a while, you can see it. I'm like, okay, people are going to start asking you soon what you've been doing differently.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on this. So, you've been using it on your face for
a year.
So the whole time, okay.
Yeah.
And you feel like in your own face that you can...
I look at pictures of me from a year ago, and I'm like, wow. Crazy.
So what's different? Like, just to share.
All the harder lines have all softened.
Right.
All of them, the little fine lines, the coloration has changed, and just the whole texture and the firmness and the softness of it, and just everything.
Moles, freckles.
Yeah.
Disappearing.
Yeah, the moringa oil I was using was already like kind of a revolutionary thing for me that I've been using for a long time, and that healed some pretty crazy things I had going on. I had a wart inside my nose since childhood. Yeah, like since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
I've had
amazing.
That inside my nose.
And how fast did the moringa oil make a difference on that?
Like in less than a week, it was gone. It was crazy. This thing that I'd had my whole, like basically my whole life.
Were you applying it directly, or were you diluting it?
I had a little cotton ball that I tore a chunk of a cotton ball off, and I saturated that in moringa oil and stuffed it up my nose.
For a while?
And I just left it in my nose for a little while, and then when I got tired of it being there, I would take it out, and I just did that every day, and then it just, this chunk of thing fell out of my nose.
Wow, and hasn't come back.
No. And my nose has felt like for a while I was like obsessive about, because my whole, it felt so different. It was like getting a new nose.
It's like having your teeth cleaned, and then you keep rubbing your tongue on your teeth because your mouth feels different. You're like, what? What is happening?
Totally.
Now, I started using the moringa oil when I first got it from you, and then I started breaking out all over my face, and I've actually stopped, and I haven't gone back to it yet.
Interesting.
So I might have been doing too much.
Yeah, you don't.
Or too often.
Need much. And
well, one drop, and I was mixing it with the plasma.
Oh, wow.
But maybe every day was too much.
Yeah.
So I stopped. I also was coming... I keep going too loud. I was also coming up on my cycle, and I usually get one pimple per cycle. But it was like 3. Yeah. And I'm like, excuse me, this is not okay.
Now, so there's and detox symptoms can happen in a lot of different ways.
Sure. So don't blame the moringa oil.
No, I'm just saying like maybe the moringa oil is actually triggering
it. Yeah,
that
could
too.
Be.
Moringa oil is very unique because what it's famous for is, I can't remember the name of the compound or whatever you want to call it now. Zeaxanthin.
Okay.
So your cells need, at a certain point when there's enough zeaxanthin in your cells, that's when the skin cell actually makes
Divides.
its division.
Okay.
And that's what moringa oil has more of that than like any other plant that we know of right now.
Wow.
And so it gets your skin cells dividing when they're young. So that
before they get distorted.
Right. And you can have some pretty amazing like skin tags. People with skin tags, they'll fall off over time because that cell, all those cells they're dividing when they're younger, so they're not feeding this thing anymore. It can't grow anymore. It falls off. And that's why the wart
fell off.
Because it's feeding all those skin cells.
That's amazing
underneath.
Since childhood.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So I love the plasma moringa oil. I use it really on my whole body, like dilute. I put a few drops. I'll put my boiled plasma in my hand, and then I'll put like a drop or two of moringa oil and just like rub that around, and then start
doing it religiously
in my
when I
legs
first got
and, like,
the oil from you, and then when I had the little breakout, it kind of went on the shelf and I haven't gone back.
That's okay.
So
thank
you for explaining.
And I also use it in my hair. It's like my conditioner.
Yes, I did on the ends, I think.
Yeah.
At one point. Yeah.
So I'll take my boiled plasma again. Well, actually, my boiled plasma, I usually just spray over my hair.
Do you use it as a shampoo?
Pretty much. Not so much boiled because the boiled takes some time to make. So I don't usually use that in the shower. I'll usually use my Evolved in the shower. And it's more like the Evolved is more of a deeper clean.
Right. Do you notice any changes in your hair?
Yeah, definitely. Before I've been on a no poo, no shampoo for a very long time already. But I was using basically vinegar, my own homemade fruit vinegars. I call them enzymes, that I've been using to wash my body and my hair with and our laundry for several years. And the moringa oil. But the plasma is so much cleaner. So I kind of dried out my hair a bit using too much Evolved.
I really like the sugarcane juice for that.
Yeah.
As a conditioner.
Crazy.
Yeah, so
I haven't done that.
I'm using the fresh plasma as like a shampoo, and I just I only wash my hair maybe once a week. And I haven't done I've been doing the no poo thing for years.
Yeah.
So I'll do the fresh in my hair, and then I notice like on the days that my hair might feel a little bit like I could probably do it now, I'll take my sugarcane juice and just let that and soak that in my hair. I wish I could leave it in because it's so silky and curly and beautiful, but then it's sticky. Everything's in my skin's I'm all sticky. I'm like, I can't live like this. So I rinse it out, but my hair feels great. So between those two, it's kind of amazing. Nature is amazing,
isn't it? That's us.
Yeah,
that's us. Yeah, it is amazing. The whole journey has been pretty amazing. So laundry, the whole house,
toothpaste,
the whole body, foot soaks, shampoo, brushing your teeth, wounds, burns, old scars.
Hormone therapy.
Hormone balancing. Ladies, hello.
Yeah.
Hormone balancing. And mental clarity. The pineal gland, that was a big thing. The dreaming, waking up, the dreaming. I can't believe that
these are connecting for me, because I'm like, my dreams have been out of this world. I used to always have out of this world. Like
that was one of the first things in that 3-day fast. I was like,
you noticed, right? Wow. I'm excited about this fasting thing. I'm not sure I'm going to do that now because I'm actually leaving in 2 days.
No, and because you can trigger a pretty significant healing crisis in you.
I'll be dragging myself along on the plane, and everyone will think,
yeah, it's better to just get ready for that. Have some space.
Yeah. And
some things of comfort nearby to support you through that, because it doesn't. I mean, some people have.
Well, I've been
crazy
soft
reactions.
Cleansing now for almost a month, so at least that will mitigate.
Oh gosh.
not to say that it's just going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah.
I'm
and
looking
who
forward
knows?
to
Maybe it's,
the mucus leaving, though.
Yeah. And also, like, a huge, it really is a deep tissue detox. You'll definitely feel that. Like, your weight goes down so much in that 3 days. It's like speed diet.
Well, and inflammation and whole water retention, like all that stuff.
And the fat, cleaning the fat, because you're, so your body basically uses fat
to store toxins. So if you're loaded with toxins, the body can't release the fat, because otherwise you would have all these toxins running through your blood.
You'd have a toxic overload.
Thank you, yeah. So we have to cleanse to lose weight. I don't think everybody knows that.
I don't think so either. You really the body needs to go through a detox. Yeah. And that's what these things are that happen to us. The flu is your natural cycle that usually is in nature in the spring. Your body naturally goes through a detox, and we've been tricked.
Go get the shot.
Yeah, we've been tricked into
shot.
Like suppressing that instead of supporting that. Like, oh, you're sick, like then you mute that down. And
take some drugs.
Yeah, instead of supporting the body into pushing these things out.
Okay, I'll do a fast.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
and people have crazy healing experiences. Just never mind plasma fast, just from a distilled water fast.
Right.
And that's another big myth out there about how distilled water is bad for you. It's not. Distilled water is actually really super good for you. Our bodies are basically batteries.
The electrical.
Yeah. So if you're going to do a water fast, then the best water fast you can do is a distilled water fast. But your body is making that distilled
I actually
water.
have this machine at home. Home. When am I ever home? But a Kangen.
Oh, I've heard that name before.
So it is supposed to alkalize and electrify your water, and you can test, you can actually
test the pH of it,
and the electrical output of it.
Cool.
Yeah, if you have the right little gadget.
Yeah. But the plasma, yeah. So did we cover everything?
I think that's a pretty good start.
Yeah. You can even cook with it. Rice, you can use a portion of it to cook your rice or boil your pasta. When you start to really, if you go deeper into this, then all of these Eskimos and
we don't
these
call them that anymore.
Desert people, Arctic living
I think you
people.
say Inuit now.
Is it?
You haven't been
Eskimo
in Canada in a long
time.
No. You haven't been in Canada in a long time. Apparently that's a bad word, and I'm like, really?
Indigenous people that live in the Arctic.
Thank you.
That don't have running water.
I always loved the word Eskimo. I don't know where that got a bad rap, but apparently anyway, that's the thing. Yeah. Indigenous is a good.
I can't keep up.
Well, you could if you were in Canada, but keep actually taking all of this in. Yeah.
Sure. So this has been in use. It's just I think that it hasn't been talked about because it's been geared as a taboo.
Well, we've been separated from our own bodies, thinking that our own bodies are gross and bad, and I don't even know.
The whole germ theory that I'm going to catch something from you.
Yeah. No, and just me and my own self thinking that my own body is gross.
Right. Yeah. Getting
we're supposed to shave and we're supposed to use, deodorant.
You can't have hairy armpits
and all of these things geared toward making you feel insecure, so that you'll go out and buy more products that are filled with poison.
Yeah.
It's
you're loading yourself with
toxic load.
Yeah. Definitely. It's crazy.
Anyhow, I'm definitely invested, and I want to continue, and I want to see how far this journey can take me. You're a year in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm still learning new applications. So
yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah. Eye drops. What else? The boiled. So one of the other questions about aging or evolving is what kind of a container and how do you do that? Open, air, closed. I usually do mine all in just out of convenience, sealed bottles. And just out of convenience, I use plastic because
then
that's
you can
what I have access.
Reuse also.
Yeah.
Instead of throwing out these plastic containers, you can reuse
right.
them.
That's really why.
Yeah.
And just glass is okay. Like if I in an ideal situation, I would probably use glass, and I would I do like doing mine in sealed containers. There's some people that use a cloth cover, but from doing so much fermentation, I used to be an avid kombucha fermenter, and you really need to make sure your cloths are clean and your habitat, the environment around you is good, because like
you're introducing a new
right
element.
Yeah. And so a lot of people, well, some people can have, things growing in their plasma, and they're like, where did this come from? I'm like, well,
who knows?
you're living in it. So I prefer doing mine
and you
sealed.
let off the
like I'll date after my bin is full, I'll put a date on there, and then so I have different grades. I have like the grade that I'm gonna, like my favorite A grade that I save for
special
body
stuff.
use,
Right.
And then I have like B grade that's
garden, cleaning.
There's sort of like 3 grades. There's one for laundry and then another one for garden use. And being a woman, when you have your monthly cycle, there's going to be that in there too. So that one, I obviously don't want to wash my laundry with that one. So that's like more garden, actually.
I would think that'd be good topically.
But yeah, I might dive into that a bit more because I haven't. So I sort of have some grades. I don't go to the bathroom and the toilet anymore.
Yeah, you have that
save everything.
You have that little silver bowl. Even when you're out, you have it and you just collect it.
Yeah. So the best, like if you're going to start and you want to start with like the cream,
of the crop.
The best one is to catch your first morning passage, and
that's also the hardest one because it's there's the most flavor and smell in that one. I know it's the best for you, but it's also the hard. I wouldn't even start with that one.
After my cooked meal, I've tailored my diet for it, but then
but I'm just saying, if someone hasn't changed their diet and they just go and start with their morning one, it's going to be icky.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, but
and I wouldn't want to turn someone off.
Sure.
They take one sip and go, I can't do this.
You can also, but I don't know if someone like that, their afternoon plasma is probably going to be fairly similar because they're probably eating.
For me, the morning, not my first one, I do sip cycle, and I actually use it topically a lot. Because I feel like it's got all those good stuff in there.
Right.
But it doesn't taste great because I ate that evening meal.
Right.
So I never drank my whole one, and I know I probably could. But once that one's over and done with, all that morning while I'm drinking my coconut water and whatever tastes amazing.
That's a great way to start. That's a great way to start.
That
Drink what? That's why I love sip cycling.
Right.
It's like, okay, you get a
instant feedback.
Right. And then drink the one that tastes good, and then you can alter your diet so that you can find a balance there. But the first morning one is a special one. Do what you want.
I sip cycle it.
For women, that's where all of your best hormones are after you sleep. And also, in another sense,
my meal situation, I would be able to better do the morning one. Like if I was going to do a meal earlier in the day.
Mm-hmm. And there's different things that you'll figure out how to do to get your plasma cleaner faster. like the enzyme that I make, and that I mix with the kefir water.
Right.
So after I have my meal, my dinner time cooked meal, I'll have that. I'll drink that right away after, and I'll have like 2 or 3 glasses of my fruit enzyme with kefir water, and dilute it a little bit with a bit of water if I want to.
Right.
And I'll drink like at least 2 glasses of that before I go to bed. And then by the time I'm going to the bathroom at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, it's pretty clear.
Huh. Okay then. See, learning every day.
So yeah, that's for women especially, that is the best one for hormones. Having said that, though, I also think that there's something, and what you were saying about the be happy to be drinking it. They actually mention that in the Damar Tantra. Joyfully, you consume this morning one with joy gratitude in your heart. Right. Yeah. So bringing that positivity, that energy into the whole ceremony.
Nice.
And make it like a morning
overall
ritual.
It's been so much easier than I thought from the first time you introduced this idea to me, and I'm just kind of like, now I'm open because I'm
for it.
open to the healing stuff, but at the same time I'm just like, I gotta drink it.
When I first heard it, I was like,
what?
But then by the time we finished the
conversation
clip that we had, I was like, okay, give me a cup.
Right.
This is happening.
Yeah.
People have
listening
had pretty crazy
to people's
stories.
Personal stories is.
That's it.
Yeah.
That was what got me at the beginning.
Yeah.
I didn't read any of the scientific. No. Right. I was like, okay, direct experience.
Right. Lived experience.
And so I just started right away. And then it was like days reading, and the first book I read was the John Armstrong Water of Life. And I was stunned at what I was reading. Stunned. The foreword, the first chapter, and the afterword, if that's all, I think everyone should read those 3 parts of that book.
Right.
And if you text it out, I'll do an audio of it.
Cool.
Because it says those 3 sections really say it all. He does an overview of allopathic medicine and his experience.
We don't want to diss allopathic medicine, because if I get hit by a car,
he puts it in its place.
And I go to
There's
the hospital,
a place.
I'm going to want them to stitch me back up. But in terms of long-term care or chronic pain and chronic illness,
they don't have a good track record.
They don't.
The numbers just aren't there to support it.
No. And pharmaceuticals are so harmful in so many ways, and it's not actually healing anybody for the most part. Like there might be some exceptions, like I don't even know, because antibiotics, that might cure your bacterial infection, but it just obliterated your natural bacteria balance.
Yeah. I really wonder if it is actually helping, or if the body's really getting rid of it, and it's just like,
I don't know, but
because
I don't know. The last time I actually was forced, I had been 10 years clean, because as a kid I was on antibiotics all the time with throat and ear infections, like debilitating. My eardrums kept bursting, like there's a lot of issues going on there. So I was on them a lot, which of course just degraded my own natural ability to heal. So I had gone once I got educated, I had gone maybe 15 years without having any antibiotics. And then I was working with the feral cat agency on Quadra, and this one cat almost escaped, and it was a wild cat, and I grabbed it, and it thought I was trying to eat it. So it attacked, naturally. I did save it though. But anyway, it chewed up my hand a bit. And I was like, oh, it's fine. I'll just clean it with colloidal silver, and I'll do all my natural stuff. Well, the infection started moving down my
plasma.
hand.
I can't wait for you to read John Armstrong.
Right? Book. This is amazing. So I was like, oh, I gotta go to the doctor, which I don't like to go to the
Sure, you could have just peed on it. So funny.
Right? He drew a line, and he said, if the red and swelling goes past this line, you will be in the hospital for about 3 weeks on intravenous antibiotics. Take these antibiotics. And at the time, I didn't know any different, so I took it, and it, you know.
Yeah.
And then I had to go on I just spent years on probiotics after that, because I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Now I have to fix all that.
Yeah.
But yes, I had the answer inside of me the whole time. Yeah.
I had a perforated eardrum.
Ugh, that hurts.
Yeah, and I had it for almost a year. It was crazy. I went to the doctor and got all the things and blah, 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 and antibiotics, and because I was like, okay, I felt like I didn't have any other choice.
Right.
And I did the whole suite of stuff, and it never
even did anything.
It never really resolved it.
Right.
There was still this thing, and I was just like, okay, what if you were stranded, you know, like, just forget about all of this external medical stuff out here. It doesn't exist anymore. What are you gonna do?
Right.
Aloe vera. I don't know. That's just what came to me.
Oh, sometimes your intuition can definitely tell you the answer.
Yeah.
When you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on.
Aloe vera, because I remembered reading about Alexander the Great would take live plants into the battlefield with him. And in Chinese medicine, it's called the plant of immortality.
Ooh.
And so I got some high quality. Now, that's the other part of it. When you're doing natural medicine, now the quality of the product and how it was, all of that.
It's a rabbit hole.
Sure, isn't it?
Yep.
So luckily enough, I was in a country that I could order this high quality nutraceutical grade aloe gel, and I put that in my ear. Done. Again, Univera, actually.
Yeah.
They make good stuff. Can't deny it. So that took care of my hole in my eardrum that I'd been struggling with for a year, and I couldn't believe. I didn't know plasma then, but it's pretty amazing, you know, a plant. A plant.
Well, and the idea that what if we're provided with all of the answers?
And like, aren't we?
Provided and provided. It's all right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's that, you know, that the Western conventional medicine just separates us from the idea.
Yes.
They've made it into a business
yes.
for a bunch of people to make
money.
And
plasma is a business for them. Don't forget
They're still making money off of that.
We literally are like
cosmetics, pharmaceuticals.
We're factories.
Right.
We're factories for the pharmaceutical industry. They tap into that.
Yeah.
The porta potty company, one of the biggest porta potty companies in the States, is a pharmaceutical company.
Right.
And pregnant women, they have special plasma.
Stem cells? Or
I can't remember. I think it's a special hormone that their body
is
makes.
releasing.
Yeah.
Right.
But, and of course they harvest this from animals because it's so much easier for them to do that. Because the less that they harvest from, right.
The secrets. Yeah. The mysterious
it was
they.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this they?
Yeah.
I don't like them.
And you know, this really, like, all of this stuff, this last year of doing plasma therapy has been a big part of dealing with all of my emotional baggage that I'd been hiding
that. We
from.
haven't even talked about that.
Yeah, this is gonna crack that open for some people.
Right.
I'm sure, because it
depending
sure
where
did
you are on your journey, I think that people are they might be coming from a place of desperation, like the woman that wrote the book that had the endometriosis and had so much pain.
You're a perfect medicine
over years and years and years. So she was coming to plasma therapy in desperation, thinking, well, what do I have to lose?
And most people wait until they are in a state of desperation before they've tried it.
Other people are coming at it like, I don't know, from a different, maybe a hopeful or maybe curious or whatever. It's really going to depend on how much work, you know, where you at in your own journey, emotionally, physically, mentally.
And it kind of ends up triggering that. It's a big trigger for the emotional detox because then you realize that this thing that you have this new appreciation and this new knowledge of what your body is capable of. And it's like,
amazingness.
Whoa. So there's an emotional kind of release that happens there because you realize that this thing has been hidden from you, or hasn't, just hasn't ever.
Well, that flip
not
side
hidden
of
from
that,
you,
right.
not
the flip side of that is gratitude.
Yeah.
So anytime you feel yourself falling into like, well, why didn't I know this before? It's like, oh, but I'm so grateful that I have the knowledge now.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that there's a lot of times a big emotional release for
Gotcha.
people.
Gotcha.
Yeah. A lot of the long time plasma, well, I think fasting in general really does that, but because fasting really shows how emotional the eating is. So it's all tied together.
Been there. Like usually I would just use some kind of food to distract me from these feelings, and I don't have that during my fast, then like now I'm in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Dealing with the feelings that are coming up.
Yeah. And to not I don't unconsciously eat anymore, really, or anything. I'm just like, when I put that, whatever is coming up to my face, I'm like, okay. Automatically, I'm like, okay, what is this? What is
well,
this
you're going to be reintroducing it back to your mouth. So you got to think like, is this good?
Yeah.
Am I going to want to have this back in my mouth? Or no? I think I'm still a bit probably unconsciously eating as I'm eating.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if I'm hungry. Now, for me, the shift has been not just plasma, but just going through a fasting journey from years ago, starting with that and implementing that on a semi-regular. I eat when I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Regardless of time of day.
Yes.
When I am hungry, I eat.
Yeah.
And I don't eat before I am hungry.
Yeah.
So that's been a big thing.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was just like, I'm bored. I'm lonely. Yeah. I'm lonely. I am unfulfilled.
For me, it's like, okay, there's so much work to do, so much things that I want to do, that it's interesting. Wow, I'm kind of just sort of seeing another deeper layer of all of this actually right now, because of this big shift that happened recently for me. But I was putting off dealing with stuff while I was stuffing myself. I was stuffing myself so I didn't have to deal with my stuff.
Oh, I've been there.
I was like stuffing my stuff. All of my eating was like just eating my emotions back.
I've been much heavier than I am now, like because of this. I have something sad happen to me. I'm not dealing with it, so now I'm gonna eat it away.
Yeah.
Like, when in the history of anybody did that work?
Yeah. And after my most recent big fast that I just did this like December, 33 days, plasma fast, which turned into sort of a light detox. I did 10 days of just plasma. And then I was like, okay, my energy isn't where I want it to be. Right. I'm really curious, though, now, if I do that again, I think it'll be a totally different experience, because
I think every time we cycle back around, you're a different you.
Yes.
Your body is a different
I've let go of so much stuff, and not just letting go of stuff, but like having the courage to face the shit you need to work on. And
I'm not stuffing
allowing
it down,
that vulnerability,
so
allowing that vulnerability to just come out. So I think it would be, when you do your 3-day fast, maybe I'll join you, and we can do a little
I'll see
live thing.
In my next country when I get settled. My intention is to find somewhere. I really like getting cozy and nesty. Yeah. My nesty's the bestie. I love nesting. So even if it's like a few weeks, if I find somewhere to nest, I will. Yeah. We will do this. Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I was doing like enemas too at the same time.
For sure.
Sometimes I was doing 2 a day.
Right.
And it was really like energy, really from depression.
Yeah, right.
Helps a lot of people with
you spoke
depression.
About that for your mom. You haven't really spoke of it, but your father and your mother both have had some big shifts.
Yes.
And they've been doing it for about a year also?
About as long as
less?
I have, a little less.
Right, because you had your experience and then we're like, come on, Mom, Dad.
Yeah.
You got to try this.
Yeah. And my dad
It's hard not to shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah. And my dad was really going through some stuff, some heavy stuff at that time,
health-wise.
Yeah, and my mom too,
emotion-wise,
like being there for him.
Right.
I feel for me, my experience with them, it was really remarkable. I could feel the energy shift in my dad, and my mom, her joyfulness came back. She talks about her depression, like seeing it and like feeling that release of the grip that it had on her. Can really feel it in her.
It's like
and
a consciousness.
And she was really extra
I think
vibrant.
We forget that it's not us. It becomes a part of your identity.
Right. That's why you need to be happy when you're drinking your.
Right.
Because you're that vibration. You're taking it back into yourself again.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So it was big. It was a really big deal for them, and they'll be doing it for the rest of their lives.
I think once you feel the benefits, it's like you can't really imagine going back.
Yeah.
And it's so easy.
Yeah.
And free.
Yeah.
Just the little couple minutes it takes.
And also like right now too, it's like this time in our humanity where detoxing is like a thing, and
emotionally,
people are like
mentally, spiritually, physically,
yes,
all
and
levels.
this is something that can really support that in like crazy ways. And parasites, worms, and that kind of hardcore intestinal stuff people have going on. Plasma enema, wow. Talk about cleaning house. Just can't survive.
Yeah.
It's gonna come out.
Yeah.
People have had some crazy stuff come out of their bodies.
I hear you.
And when I see these people with these huge guts.
Well, the average person, once you're in your adulthood, the average person has 7 to 21 pounds of undigested fecal matter lining their intestinal tract. So you think about this, it's the insides of our intestines.
Plaque.
Thank you. The inside of our intestines have all those little phalange business, and that's what's sucking the nutrients out of our food.
Yeah, which is clogged.
But now it's lined
Yeah.
with this like tar-like substance. So how over a lifetime, you think about aging, how much of aging is aging?
Right.
And how much is you can't get the nutrients?
Right, you're not even absorbing the nutrients.
And you're
from your
overloaded
food.
with stress.
Right, so
and
that's
mucus.
That's why plasma therapy can be so like bam for some people that are really
depending on where they're at physically.
Yeah, and they can have big healing crises.
Right.
And some people that
I
start
think
it,
that's
they're like
important to be aware.
Definitely.
It's like we're talking.
It's not an adverse reaction. It's you're putting your body is detoxing.
I think anyone, I can't say, but I would think that anyone who is interested in this conversation is probably already interested in cleansing and detox.
Yeah.
So they would understand the healing crisis, that is something that happens. Like when you do let's say a 2-week herbal cleanse, you already know that around day 3, 4, 5, 6, depending, that's when you feel the crappiest.
Yeah.
Usually, and then you come out of it like around day 7, day 8. I mean, it depends on what you're dealing with going into it, and then you just get lighter and lighter, and by the end of that detox, you're like, wow, you feel so much better,
liberated,
lighter, more energized. Yeah, so I think not that the plasma detox would follow that same schedule, but just to understand that you can have headaches,
definitely
achiness, flu-like symptoms, low energy.
Yes, all normal.
Yeah,
all normal. Or the other side of that, like super energized, and like just depends where your body is at. There's some people that are already really clean. Yeah. But the reducing, so a lot of the people like are kind of in our humanity right now, and in our time, yeah, detox is like a huge thing. And the other thing of having your needs met, like food security, that really like lifted off me too. You know, I was like, wow, you really don't need a lot.
No. Yeah, you don't. Fasting teaches you that.
You really don't need much at all.
No, yeah.
And if there these places in the world that are in sort of a food crisis, this is a magical thing for humanity to sink their teeth into, wet their palate with, and you know you feel this security in that, in your body's ability to survive.
Produce what it needs.
Yeah. When after I did the 10 days of just plasma, then I was just introducing coconut water, sugarcane juice, and I was doing a herbal infusion, just moringa leaf infusion, just drinking, not eating the dried leaf, just boiling it and drinking that. And that was it. I was like, had enough energy to.
I talked to one of my friends recently. I was like, yeah, I'm doing a 3-day fast. He's like, can you live? I was like, people do 30-day fasts. Like, this is kind of just like a little baby fast, you know? Whoa, really? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're programmed to think that we need 3 meals a day, plus snacks.
Yeah, dessert.
Oh yeah, need.
Yeah.
I need.
Yeah. But I think in hindsight, now that I'm dealing with all of this old stuff, finally, my last fast, after I came off of it, I went straight into like, basically, I mean, if you compared it to the average person, you'd be like, wow, you're eating really good.
Oh, I know
but
exactly
where
you're
went
going
like
with this.
Hardcore. It's like I didn't want to deal with the emotional part of what I'd just been through, and so I was like re-stuffing it all back down.
I have done the slingshot thing many times.
Major slingshot for me.
I'm like, so was it even worth me doing the cleansing and fasting and detoxing when all I did was, like you say, compared to the average person, my binging does not look like what other people's does, but still for me, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, we could have come back to a nice neutral zone.
Oh my God, that was my plan.
Right.
And I had a big, like, 10-day plan of coming back to eating well.
And it really is the emotional piece, because you know that physically you don't need much. So you know it's the emotional attachment to the food.
I wasn't ready to deal with all of it. I didn't think I had the strength to deal with all of it. Yeah. And then one of the things I did, I bought a package of digestive cookies.
Oh, I've heard about this
covered.
Story with the digestive many times.
The whole package ate the whole thing in one sitting.
Time. Oh yeah.
Stuffing it. And in my head I was like revisiting my grandma, and it was Christmas time, and just my codependency of my family that I didn't want to face, and not having them over the holiday, but like just not having the relationship with my family that I want. They weren't giving me this relationship that I wanted. But these
cookies will give it to me.
Yeah.
I've been there so many times.
So when I was, and during your fasting, the dreams that you get during plasma fasting is another crazy thing. Like one of my dreams was being rejected by my grandmother.
Aww.
And to be okay with that, to still love my grandma even though she rejected me. And I think that was a sign. That was like a signal for this codependency.
Right. Remember, to be in a healthy relationship with anyone, you have to be in a healthy relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the work. And that's the work that you are doing.
Yeah.
diving in, deep dive, baby, deep dive.
Ripping off the Band-Aid.
And loving yourself anyway.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about the plasma, is because it feels like this
nourishing
support, this built-in support that you can tap into.
Yeah.
And to remember it. That's what we're here to do. We're here to remember.
Yeah.
And that support that's built in, just allowing yourself to feel that support of your body supporting itself.
And then we can embrace the messy life experiences and embrace the messy life decisions and embrace the pain.
This is all a
Embrace
dream.
it all.
Like at a certain level.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
It's just an experience. And it's only your judgment that makes it good or bad. Because it just is.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
It's only you and you with you
Yeah.
that makes it, assigning it, oh, that's a good thing and that's a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy at the age I'm at to be going through this aspect. Because
that's a judgment.
Okay. Thank you.
Regardless.
But anyway, here we
is.
are. It's been beautiful.
Yeah,
The whole thing
we're so
has been
thankful
beautiful.
to have this
I
messy and sometimes
so am.
painful human experience.
Totally.
It's so unique.
Absolutely. And that's the plasma is your uniqueness that you sort of tap into that again. It's such a beautiful. The Damar Tantra is probably my favorite book. I mean, the other ones are really like clinical, and you're like, wow.
I like the people shared experiences. What do you call that? What do we call that in the community, in the medical community? The
like references, referral, not that.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. What's the word?
Case study.
Yeah.
Case study. I love reading the case studies.
Yeah. Well,
And
that whole book
they're so varied.
of The Water of Life is all
so
case
varied.
studies. Yeah. And he breaks them down into sections.
Right.
Depending on.
I haven't read that one, remember.
That one's going to blow you away. When I had to breathe my way through that book. I was just like, okay, calm down.
Getting ahead of yourself.
Because it's so like, wow.
Transformative, yeah.
Wow. And it's like case after case after case, and I'm just like, oh my gosh,
how did I not
where
know
is this crazy?
Yeah.
Like people about to have their leg amputated, and 30 days later they walk out, all limbs still attached. It's nuts.
I'm happy to keep the limbs.
Yeah.
Let's keep the limbs.
But when you were saying like your finger from your cat and your doctor saying if you don't go on these antibiotics, then it's going to spread here and we're going to have to chop your arm off
basically. And I was like, fear. Okay, give me the pills.
Right. And in all reality, if you'd have just peed on that right away.
Right.
When you have a drink, when you drink something like coffee, for example, within
minutes.
Within 5 minutes.
You can taste it in your plasma.
It's in your plasma.
Yeah.
Incredible. So when you get bit by a bee, for example,
right,
then the
antidote, or a cat with bacteria in its mouth.
The antidote for that, your body is already your body knows what's going on in your finger better than you do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
I just know, ow.
It automatically generates the things in your blood that you need to fix that.
Right.
And so when you take your plasma back orally and topically, it's like coming at it from both sides.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't even
if I'd only know.
Crazy, huh? It's like remarkable.
Yeah.
Amazing. You just feel like a magical
I'm super
person.
excited for the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm so glad you're down with it the way you are. I'm like, yeah. The first, well, not the first. Like,
your parents.
Yeah, but they still haven't done an enema.
Is this your look to them if they're watching?
I know an enema is a big thing for a lot of people, but really,
because they're scared of their own bodies.
I
like, which part is scary?
Thing is, like, I don't know.
You wipe your butt every day. Not to be crude, but I mean, it is just a body.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. And even for me, the enema was like, at first. Not excited. At first. At first, I was excited.
I was like, ooh, I could clean it all out.
When I saw the guy talk about the plasma enema,
right?
It was actually Santos Bonacci.
Oh, yeah.
Different person from who I learned about plasma therapy from. When he talked about the plasma enema, I was like, pause. Okay, how are we going to do this?
I'm down. I love your enthusiasm.
But
I've been, I was really excited about enemas. Then when I heard about, like, colon hydrotherapy, I was like, I can clean myself from the inside out. Like, the idea of being sparkling on the inside, like, to me is like, so I can't sweep and mop my intestinal tract like I can my floor of my house. But I was like,
this is like that.
Clean. You know, like, I just love this
and I've
idea
done
of doing
the saline, like, where you drink sea salt, like water, to do the flush. I did that years ago when I'm on my very, very first master cleanse, the lemonade.
Have you ever had mucoid plaque pass?
From the plasma, yeah.
Okay, I have never experienced it.
When I did my 10 days for sure, because then I was also doing enemas.
Right. Was it easy to pass?
Oh yeah.
Oh good.
Oh,
because when you see the pictures of it, you're like, how did that even come out? It's still like it's still in the shape of the intestines. Like, how did that come out of you?
Yeah. It's kind of like that, but it's not so. I think when people go to these therapy places to get stuff like that done, it's like
more intense.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you were talking about with. It's kind of like, it's in a way, because some of the alternative medicine things are a bit hardcore. They're a bit
harsh,
allopathic in a sense. In a sense that it's like your foot. You know, like, okay, we're gonna scrape all of the dead skin off, and that's gonna fix the flaking dead skin problem. And some of these flushes can be like a little bit harsh in that same way. And plasma is a lot more like, it can feel violent in a sense when your body wants to expel that. You want to be close to the toilet, and you don't want to know it might not be a fart. You know, be ready for stuff to come out. And it can be
explosive.
Yeah, it can be like that.
For sure.
But it's really more of a long-term thing than a short-term thing. However, you can speed things along, and that's what the plasma fasting and daily plasma mixed in combination with the daily plasma.
Isn't it true that almost, and I don't know if I'm not going to say 100% because I don't know, but like most dis-ease that starts in the body starts in the colon.
We're built from the inside out.
Yeah, and that's just toxic overload. If it can't come out, then it's in there toxifying your body.
Yes.
So the idea of doing enemas and getting that out, like, obviously
it's a no-brainer, really.
To me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I can't believe that I was ever
weirded out.
Yeah, but that's just the brainwashing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and women, I think, kind of have a little more, because we have our
to deal
menstrual
with our periods and all of that.
and so that's already, it's like
touching your own body.
Yeah, and
intimately.
Right, and for some women, this is already in their culture. It's like a dirty thing. So we're already, I think a lot of women hold this like dirty, like the body fluids, the bleeding, the poop.
My best friend from childhood. So she's obsessively washed her hands her whole life, even in her own home. So when I'm at home, This is before plasma therapy, but when I'm at home and if I was to go pee, and unless I thought I peed on my hands, I didn't wash my hands. I'm in my own home. My home is clean. I'm not washing my hands. But in her home, she was like, I need you to wash your hands every time you pee before you come back out into my house. And I'm like, okay, like I'm a guest, okay, I'm doing this. But I had to ask her.
It's funny because now we're like spraying with plasma.
Right? I think about this. I think about her. That's what has got me thinking about her lately.
Yeah, this can probably help a lot of people with issues like that.
But I had to ask her, I said, honey, from the time that you shower and get out of the you're clean in the shower, right? She's like, yes. I was like, so at what point that you got out of the shower are you now dirty?
Yeah.
Because she's like, well, it's not even about peeing on your hand or whatever. And I'm like, so you're just dirty down there? You're just dirty? At what point when you come out of the shower clean are you dirtified?
Yeah.
You know, and she was just like...
And because urine comes out of your body, now you're dirty.
She didn't have the answers. And here I am drinking it and putting it all over my skin, and it's making me think back on her.
Right.
Because she has all these health issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so many people. One of my friends is like going through it, you know, like this last while. She's really been going through it with her own health, with her own weight management, with her own hormonal imbalance and all of that. And then with her family too, kind of in a similar situation to me, in some ways, going through it with her own family. And I'm like, plasma, how about, and you know, she's just like, I don't even know if she's cracked a book to even look, but
all
there's
you can
so
do
much
is
support
offer,
there.
And if they don't want it,
it's so hard to
watch someone you care about suffer needlessly suffer.
I know, right? And just to, in this day and age where the information
is there, it's available,
really just right at your fingertips, and to just bypass it
out of a judgment
is so frustrating. And I this is another thing of the codependency, right?
I know. I was going to say why it doesn't really ultimately matter, because that's their journey.
Right.
If they want to suffer as part of their journey, that's their journey.
Yeah.
They might need to crash, like have a complete crash and breakdown before they ever consider going outside of the norm.
Yeah.
And maybe not even then.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not your job.
No.
No, you say that you know that, but you don't know that.
I'm struggling with it. Like right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be willing to be vulnerable.
Be willing to get uncomfortable.
Yeah. If you're not squirming in your chair.
Are you learning anything?
Yeah. All of it. So wild. I never thought, if you'd asked me 10 years ago where I would be today, I would not in a million years think I would be sitting here having this conversation.
Right.
Okay, we're going to take urine, we're going to take plasma, we're going to put up our bum, and we're going to put it in our eyes, we're going to put it in our ears, and we're going to drink it cups at a time.
And we're going to want to tell everyone.
Gargle, we're going to brush our teeth with it, we're going to do our laundry with it, we're going to wash our windows with it. Like, how many products have I just replaced?
People
toothpaste,
are like,
mouthwash, deodorant, which I haven't used in so many years. But the longer you do plasma therapy, and that longer game of the deep tissue detox happening, your smell changes.
I wanted to say, I wanted to mention, in case people are like, oh, their houses must be so smelly, or they must smell. I've been on 2 different dates where the guys were like, go in to hug, and they're like, oh, you smell so good. Yeah. I did not tell them what it was.
Yeah.
I could have. I didn't. I was like, I'm just meeting this I was like, well, let me say. Like, I did tell you one of my dates, he's like, oh, I suffer from these health issues. And I was like, I don't know this dude, so what does it matter? And I was like, he actually
plasma therapy.
He's been trying it.
Awesome.
I know. I sent him 2 of the books, and so I'm like, okay, like.
I saw this nomadic cycler guy, bicycle rider guy in town, and I like looped back around to talk to him because I was like, okay, I just have to share it with this guy. If there's a guy that's going to be open to it, I'm going to just go for it, because it's been a real part of getting comfortable to talking about this like live to the world, in a sense.
To the 3 people who watch.
It's the act, right?
I know.
Getting to this point is something.
Right.
Like you wouldn't.
You've had a year to gear up. I've had like 3 weeks. But.
Yeah, it was a big deal for me. So it was like part of my therapy was like, okay, just being brave enough to pick a straight, and like what have I got to lose? This
who cares?
Random guy.
People who like the information and like your vibe come closer, and the people who don't, they go away. Bye. It works for everyone.
Yeah.
That works for everyone. You can.
And it was crazy, right? Because this guy, I mean, I could just, you catch people's vibe,
your
right?
intuition was your spidey senses.
Yeah, and he, everything he owned was like a repurposed or recycled, or nothing was new. Right. It was obvious. And so when I was sharing him about all the things you can do with your plasma.
So wait a minute, you ran someone down in the street to tell them about plasma.
Well, I didn't run him down.
No.
But he did wave. He acknowledged my presence.
Okay,
I was on my way on my bicycle.
He noticed you and you noticed him.
Yeah. So he waved.
Yeah.
And I waved, and then I looped back around, and just I wasn't like I was like, hey, you're I noticed your bike, and he's like, yeah, we started talking about. He actually wasn't on his bike. Like I saw him. I passed his bicycle that was parked. And then I saw him walking towards it, and I'm like, that man owns that
your
thing.
spidey senses.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, that's my right over there. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought that.
And, so when I started sharing about plasma to him, this is a guy who's like basically got everything out of the dump,
Yeah.
And when I told him about washing my clothes with plasma, he's like, that doesn't smell. And he came up to me
and sniffed you
and like smelled my shirt, like lifted up my shirt and put it to, and I was like, okay, this is hilarious. This guy gets his stuff out of the dumpster, and he's smelling my shirt to see if it's clean, if it smells good. It's like the irony of it.
And what did he say about
he's like, well, there's no smell. So one of the things I mean, this might not smell like that.
It's not as fresh.
I don't know. So
I wear my stuff over and over again.
Yeah, so. When I have a wardrobe that I wear when I'm at home in the garden doing stuff, and I have clothes that I wear that are comfortable for my bicycle when I come into town. Yeah. So when I go home, I'll have a shower and I'll change into something else. And my bin, so I wash everything with plasma thing, and which your whites will never be whiter than with plasma.
Again, the ammonia.
You can check out Urine Tax. Have you ever did I tell you about Urine Tax? So anyway, you can look it up. I want you to
put all the things that we talk about in put links.
Urine Tax was a thing, and the kings of the villages in some places would charge people this urine tax, and they would come around and collect the urine, and they would take it back to use it to wash their clothes.
The royals.
Yeah. And so there's all kinds of stories about this where the kids are like, why are you charging people they're paying a tax to have the urine collected so that they can wash their clothes with it. Anyway, so it is really fabulous for whites. But after I wash my clothes, all of my drawers, actually they're bins. And I have a piece of paper, the paper that they make here from the mulberry leaves. And then I use essential oil like right now I'm using sandalwood that I have diluted into alcohol. And then I spray the paper with that oil and alcohol and wait for it to dry, and then put that into my bin. And after, they don't have to be in there long, and they just smell like whatever liner you have in there. So that's sort of how I scent. That's like kind of like the perfume.
I was kind of worried about I'm washing my hair, I'm putting it on my skin like several times a day.
I don't smell you. But I don't.
But to have somebody outside of that
Yeah,
and
yeah,
come
yeah.
in and be like, oh my gosh, you smell so
Yeah.
good. Like, what's on you? And I'm like,
That's on me, baby.
I just said, I guess it's just my smell.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
And the boiled too. That's another level of aroma. It's so crazy. Mine is like
I don't love the aged. I find the aged quite smelly.
yes, the aged smell.
The
So you can
evolved.
eat the evolved. One of the things you can do with evolved is we kind of didn't follow that all the way through, but anyway, so sealed bottles, and then every once in a while I'll go and give it a shake and crack it, let some of the air off, and then cap it back again. Like open the cap and close again. That's all. It doesn't need to take any more time than that. Once the exchange of air has happened, it's happened. But yeah, it's gonna have a strong. Well, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. There's some
it depends
smell.
on the grades, right? Your grade A, your grade B, your
Yeah,
grade
and
C.
what you were eating and whatever was going on. So
I see the coloration, like there's color differences.
Oh,
there's
huge,
smell
yeah.
differences.
And you can, like, some people charge it in the sun, some people
I've
charge
done
it
a
in
little
the
bit of that.
moonlight and stuff
And I
like
was
that.
like, wait a minute, this is clear plastic bottles, and I'm living at this little like
Bungalow, coconut garden,
vacation
villa.
property, whatever.
Yeah.
So like here we are, and everybody's walking by, and then there's like several bottles of tea on my step. So I was like, I did one once, and then I was like, well, one doesn't look too suspicious, but like a whole, I was like, no, So again, the idea of being in the environment where you feel the most comfortable, kind of makes a difference.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, but Buddy, the guy that I shared the information with on the date, and he's like, I'm at a hostel. I don't know how I can do this. And I was like, dude, bring a little cup. Well, that too.
Yeah.
And bring a little cup into the shower. Just pee into the little cup and then put it on your body.
Yeah.
Nobody
really,
in the hospital
people will
needs
notice
to know
it
what
in
you're
the
doing.
skin, like you say. People notice, like,
Yeah.
By the third day, at like maximum, I think you're gonna see it.
Oh, right away from the first time I put it on.
Yeah.
I think I put it on my hands first, and I was like, after just a few minutes, I was like, oh my gosh, my hands are so soft.
Yeah.
Right? Like in minutes.
Yeah.
And the feet thing. Like
yeah, and it's so cool then to be washing with it. Because you're just kind of like I'm sort of always kind of in it.
Yeah.
Because we actually do our dishes with it.
Right.
Like it's replaced everything.
Yeah. It's amazing.
For cleaning. For washing vegetables, I use the fruit enzyme vinegar in the
sink.
Yeah, to wash my vegetables with. But everything else is.
I think we've covered everything fairly well for a first time.
Sure. So we'll wrap it up. I would pan around and show the view of the Mekong River and the mountains on the other side, but all you can see is smoke.
Thank God it's only like a certain time, like March, April-ish. I couldn't deal with this all. If it was like this
is the
all
worst
the time.
I've ever seen it here in Luang Prabang. I've experienced this before in Asia, and it is not fun.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, it
is what it is.
Yeah.
No judgments. You're like, I have judgments. I'm still happy to be here. I'm also happy to be leaving.
Yeah.
To get the fresh air.
Yeah. Go get some
fresh ocean air.
Oh, man. Yeah. Some sand between the toes. It's sort of cool, though, here, because there's some really beautiful sandy river beaches, so you can still feel that beach. Sometimes I go down by the river and lay on my towel. I'm like, I'm at the beach. But okay, wrapping it up.
All right.
So give us a like, subscribe so that you can catch another episode, and we'll definitely be doing more talks on plasma and other deep dives into the psyche.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. Thanks, Taj.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.